My name is Corrine Carr. I'm the National President for Phi Upsilon Omicron, and our theme for the next 2 years is Engage in Leadership, Make a Difference. This is our logo that you'll be seeing. What does it look like to you? Rings?
Looks like arms and heads.
Arms and heads? Connecting? Anybody else? Okay. So engage in leadership, make a difference. That's what we're going to be talking about. One of the ways that you as collegiates can learn how to be leaders is to begin to know who you are. And I'm with the Alpha Sigma chapter tonight at Ball State University, and they're going to learn about themselves. Because that's the first step in becoming a leader, is learning who you are. Now, why is it important to learn who you are? Because then you'll know who you are, and you can lead better if you know who you are. Does anybody ever heard of that saying, says, know yourself? I think they said, know thyself, back in the Greek days. Why was that something that was so commonly said? Because if you know who you are, you know how good of a leader you'll be. Is everybody perfect in this room? No. So sometimes we have to figure out who we are, and that's going to make a difference in how we lead. Why do we need to engage in leadership? Because then we can make a difference. So the first thing we're going to do is learn about your personality. So this I'm going to pass around, and I'd like for you to take a look at it, and I'll tell you what it is. This is called the DISC Survey Behavior. And so we're going to look at your behaviors which help define who you are. So when you get this, you'll see that across the top are 4 words. Those are words that might describe a behavior. And so you're going to look at those, and you're going to decide which word describes your behavior the most and put a 1 by it. Those that describe your behavior the second most, you'll put a 2 by it, and so forth. 1 being the least like you, and 5 being the most like you. So you'll need to pick out the one that is the most like you and put a 5 by it, or a 4 by it, and the least like you and put a 1 by it. And the ones at the top are just examples. Okay, so take a few minutes and just fill that out. Add those numbers up down the column and put a total. And then in the first box, under the first column, you're going to write a D. In this box right here. In the second box, under the second column, you're going to write an I. In the third box, you're going to write an S. And in the last box, you're going to write a C. And I want you to tear that page off and go to the next page. And you're going to take the information from the first page, so where it has this table that says D, write the number of your column under that D. So you're going to take the information from the first page, this total down here, and write that in the box up here under the D. Same thing with the I, the S, and the C. Now you're going to take that information and use this graph. And you're going to plot where your number from the D is on the graph. Just put a little dot. Put your number where the I is under the I, the S, and the C. And if you like, you can actually draw a line from the first dot on the D to the second on the I, to the next on the C, S, and the next on the C. So you get sort of, it looks like a pattern. Okay, we're going to wait till everybody's got that spot. Okay, good. So now I want you to go where it says definitions, and you can look at the D, which is the dominant style. If your number is above the midline, above the gray zone, then you can look at that dominant style and see if that describes who you are. Same thing with the I, the S, and the C. Sometimes if they're close, you might find that one describes you better than the other. Does it sound like you? Okay, so circle the one that sounds like you if it corresponds with your graph, the most predominant one, which would be the highest number. And then down at the bottom it says, I perceive that, you can put your name in there. Tends to work toward, what do you tend to work toward based on your style? And I function best in an environment that is. So if you're a D, you work toward achieving goals and results, and you function best in an active, challenging environment. Anybody have a elevated D? Anybody have? Your I is the highest. How about an S? Okay, how about a C? Okay, now we're going to see what kind of management style you have. If you go to the next page, we don't have any high Ds. We have some high Is. You like to facilitate open communication, adopt a democratic style. You like consensus before making final decisions. Does that sound like you? The high S's adopt a participative style. So you like everybody to participate. You listen and follow through. You strive for peace and harmony. The high C's, you adopt a bureaucratic style, emphasize quality and procedures. You see the guy down here at the bottom? You have to follow the rules. The people that have the C's are the rule followers. You have to follow the rules. Does that sound like you? And you like to comply to written standards. Some of you are laughing. Is this funny?
Yes, the picture, it's just perfect.
Some of you have professors, and you can pick out their style right away, can't you? Can you figure out who they are? Their management or leadership style. Let's go to the next page. This is sensitivity to feelings of others. So you don't have any D's in here, so there's no generals who order people around. Any of you have parents like that? The high I's, they're sensitive to other. They want everybody to be happy. They offer encouragement, reach out to other people. They're real friendly folks. They like parties. Planning parties, having parties, enjoying parties. The S's, they're conscious of other people's feelings. They try to avoid hurting other people, avoid conflict. They don't like to stir up controversy. They like to smooth everything over. The people who are high C's, they're task-oriented. They take a logical, analytical approach to feelings, and they see things as black and white. In other words, you're either right or wrong. There's no gray, it's no in the middle. And if you do something wrong, I really don't care about your feelings, because we have to get the task done. So if you're an Allegra and you're the manager and you're a high C, then just get the job done. I don't care if you don't feel good today. I'm not sensitive to your feelings. We just got to get it done. Sound like anybody you know? Not you, of course. Now let's look at the next page. This is how people with different personalities release their stress. High D's become intense. They kind of blow off steam by yelling, screaming. They get all upset. They're prone to fits of anger. Sometimes they'll release stress through physical exercise. The high I's, they become more talkative. They start talking and will not stop. Talk, 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 talk. They look for social gatherings. When they're real stressed, it's like they can't sit still. They've got to be out at a party, going someplace, doing something, being with other people. They're prone to verbal attacks. If anybody says anything about anything that's related to them, they walk into a party, somebody doesn't notice their new jeans, they're just absolutely horrified and hurt. They release stress through social interaction. The high S's avoid conflict. They won't be around people. They don't want to be around people so much, they just want to kind of avoid everything. They're prone to internalize stress. So they don't say anything about things when they're upset, they just kind of keep it to themselves. And they release stress by sleeping. Some people do. They just go to sleep. The high C's, they dislike disorganization. They are very likely to become critical when they get under stress. And they release stress by being alone. It's like they've got to recharge and they've just got to be alone and get everything kind of in their order and just everything's under their control and it's following the rules and so forth. Okay? So you know what kind of person you are. So you know when you're under stress, you know finals are coming up, you know when you're under stress, now you'll see your tendency is to do this. When you're in a group like Phi U and you're leading, you're organizing, these are the ways that you tend to manage. This is how you lead. Is there a right or wrong? Absolutely not. It's just who you are. And it's okay to lead the way you are. That's fine. All right, so now you know. High D, high I, high S, high C. You know where you fall. The next thing we're going to look at in developing who you are, knowing who you are your passions. Go through and circle 3 things that you are passionate about. Now, why is it important to know what you're passionate about? Some of you are passionate about getting a better job, and that's why you're in school. It has a tendency to direct some of the choices that you make and how you lead people. So that's why we look at passion. You value things because you have a passion about them. Most of you value education because you're coming to the university. So you value education, you see it as something that's valuable because it leads to something that you can do that has something to do with passion. Some of you are in a career that has to do with your passion. If you're passionate about food or hospitality or managing or fashion or things like that, then that kind of drives you in terms of your choices. You're more likely to be a leader in an area that you're passionate about than to be a leader in an area that you're not passionate about. Anyone want to sign up to be a leader in the Old Geezer Shuffleboard Association? Nobody's passionate about that. You know what old geezers are? They're men that are really, really old, and they shuffle around and they play shuffleboard. You're not passionate about that, so you're not going to sign up to be the organizer of the shuffleboard contest because that's not your thing, okay? So knowing what you're passionate about helps you to make decisions about what organizations to be involved with, and then therefore which leadership opportunities to engage in. Okay? All right, next one we're going to do is your personal orientation assessment. The personal orientation assessment is going to help you understand if you relate more to people or tasks. So go ahead and fill out the first 2 pages, and then put your total at the bottom, and then we'll work through the last page together. You're going to take that and translate it over to your graph. The E scale is down the middle, running vertically, and the O scale is in the middle, running horizontally. So you will take those two scores that you have and circle the number, figure out where you are. How many of you are considered as a people-oriented? Okay? So you are more energized by being with people, you like doing things with people, that sort of thing. How many of you are task-oriented? Okay, the majority. All right. Now the task-oriented people are the ones who are going to get all the work done, and they're going to be upset because the people who like to be with people don't want to do anything. Because they'd rather be with people than do a task. And all those people who are task-oriented look at the people that are people-oriented and they get upset with them because they're not doing anything. But they are doing something. They're interacting with people, and relationships are really important. So that's why we need both kinds of people. So some people who are very people-oriented sign up to be detail people, and they're supposed to get things like if they're doing initiation, okay, they have to get the pins, and they have to get the cards, and they have to get the checks, and they have to get this, and they don't do all that. They want to go around and visit. Hi, how you doing? What's going on with school? You know, how's your classes going? All that kind of stuff. And so then they feel bad because they didn't get all those tasks done. So I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Just don't sign up to do those things because you won't do well. You want to be the ones who stand at the door and greet everybody and say, hey, come on in. I want to see you. I want to work with you. Okay, now if there's a person who has this combination, a high C and they're task-oriented, don't let them plan a party. Because they don't care about people. They're just getting the task done. You see how those things go together? This helps you know yourself. So if you know that you're very task-oriented and you're a high C, then you sign up to be behind the scenes doing all of those detail things because you are really, really good at that. Are you still a leader? Yes. Doesn't mean that you're not a leader. It just means that you handle those things really well. If you have a high I personality and you're very people-oriented, you want to sign up to be the greeters, to be the people who welcome everyone, who stand up in front of everyone and say, oh, we're so glad you're here, who welcome all the new members, who go around and shake hands. Those are the people we need to do that. So you can be a leader in that particular area. Is this starting to make some sense to you? Okay. So what you're going to do now is fill out your leadership profile. And we're going to put all this together and you will see who you are as a leader. Let me see one of these. So the leadership profile says, my leadership style is, and you're going to pick the D, I, S, or C, put that in there. You can say, I'm a dominant style, I'm an influencing style, I'm a steadfast style, a conscientious style. That's what those DISCs stand for. And then you're going to say, I'm a either people-oriented or task-oriented person. And then I'm going to say my 3 passions are, and list those.
So what if you're like smack dab in the middle? I just didn't know what to write down.
Say I'm perfect in every way. I'm just like Mary Poppins.
There you go. My life goal is complete.
So you're equally energized by people and tasks. So you are a people and a task person. And then you can come up with an area. What area would you be best at leading in? Based on what we've talked about. Something that has to do with a task or something that has to do with people. Something that has to do with your personality style, your leadership style. Something that has to do with your passion. What would be the ideal leadership role for you? Now that you know who you are. You can put it in the context of Phi U if you'd like. What would you be best at in Phi U? Would you be best at being the chairman of the professional project committee? Would you be best at organizing all of the details for the professional project if it's based on something that you're passionate about? Would you be best at being the initiation chairman? What would be your best fit as a leader in Phi U? Organizing parties. Organizing fundraisers, being the treasurer, being the candle reporter where you write because you like to write things. What would be your best leadership position? Anybody want to share theirs?
It was kind of the same. I was people and structured, so I said, like, I can organize a meeting with lots of people.
Okay, exactly. And what was your leadership style?
Well, it was steadiness.
Steady, all right. So Courtney's going to be this very steady. She's going to come to every meeting. She's going to make sure that she's here. She's likes structure, but she also likes people. And are you the president?
Yep.
How about that? Kind of makes sense. It fits her. Her leadership is that she likes people, so she's going to be involved with all of you. Evidently, you like Courtney because you voted her as president. So she's engaging with people, but she can set forth an agenda, have some kind of a structure, and she's loyal to the end. Steadfast means you're very loyal. You're going to stay with people. Hang in there. Great president. Good. Anybody else want to share theirs?
That I would probably be good with like organizing volunteer opportunities because serving people was one of my passions, and I was also people and like task oriented
Okay.
at the same time, so
Exactly.
that'd be a good combination.
So you want to get people to come along with you and go help people. Cool. All right. And that's a great leadership position for you. So she needs to work on the professional project. See? There you go. Because she's going to be able to get that task done, but also help people, which is what the professional project's about, is helping people in some fashion. All right. Good. Now, this helps you know what leadership positions to take, and it also helps you know which leadership positions to avoid. And that's one good thing about knowing yourself, because you never want to put yourself in a leadership position that you're going to fail in or struggle with, or it's going to be really awkward. It doesn't fit you. So always try to find places that fit, because you're going to do well, you're going to be passionate about it, and you're going to have a great time. So all of you are a leader. Down at the bottom you see, I am a leader. All of you know now that you are a leader. I will engage in leadership. So find your spot. Engage in the leadership area that you fit with. And by doing that, you'll make a difference. You'll make a difference to Phi U, you'll make a difference for yourself, you'll make a difference for other people. Getting those volunteers together, organizing them, and helping someone, that makes a difference. So that's great. Now what we're going to do is the next time I meet with you, we're going to talk about how we create teams with people that are opposite of us based on our leadership style. Because sometimes when you get into your first job, you're thrown in with people that are very different than you. Some of you have had jobs like that already. They're very different than you. It would be nice if everybody was the same. Well, maybe not. Kind of boring. Some of you are in families that everybody's different. Some of you will marry somebody who's very different. Relationships can be challenging when people are different. It doesn't mean that one's right or wrong, it just means we're different. So we're going to talk about how we can create a team and work together to accomplish a goal, even though we have very different leadership styles. Okay? Any questions? All right, how was this?
Good.
Helpful? Yeah? All right, so now you know who you are. You are a leader. You know your style. Engage in leadership. I'm going to pass around these cards so you'll all have one of these. There's a calendar on the back, and every day next year I want you to make a difference. Be a leader. Make a difference every day.
Thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Thank you.